In the break, you can learn that when we bring up the live mascot, we refer to it as the bird. Jen thinks that means that I'm number one using her fingers in a particular one. So
is there a listener who would disagree with me?
Yeah,
I'm thinking no.
there you go.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
You just let me off. Yes, you did. You just let me the bird. Now, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't shape up, okay, and get your head straight, there, you just let me off again.
107.5, the game.
A one-day hiatus. Just a quick chance to enjoy a morning. I have no clue what Jen did. I thoroughly enjoyed my morning. Not being threatened was enjoyable, although some scrappy car line drop-off people there that are ready to go all in. Make sure their kids get to school in time, Jen. You remember those days, right?
Yeah, I kind of don't miss them.
Yeah. There's the school drop-off line, not for the faint of heart. So I'm back here. That was it. That was good. One day taking the kids to school, and we are back and ready to go on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game as we get you ready for a little Thursday night football action. Some action last night, Louisiana and Marshall. Louisiana, a 23-13 victory over the Thundering Herd, but that's not where the sporting world was, I think, keeping their attention last night. Major League Baseball playoffs have gotten underway, and it took a few hours yesterday, a few storms rolling through, but we finally got around to the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies last night, and it was the Braves evening up the series late in the evening, or I should say later in the evening, as they win 3-0 last night and even up that series. They're 1-1 as they will now head back to Philadelphia. Late in the evening, it was the San Diego Padres knocking off the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-3 to also even up that series. You got two games today: Seattle at Houston and Cleveland at New York. That'll be the two games today. Then we'll be back to the National League on Friday when the Braves and the Phillies will hook up there up in Philadelphia. That'll be a 4:37 start time tomorrow. And then the Dodgers and the Padres in San Diego, 8:37 tomorrow night. So Major League Baseball playoffs taking full advantage of it, at least here in the Midlands. The South Carolina Gamecocks not having a game. At least that's what the smart decision by them, right? To take advantage of the Columbia, South Carolina market. So we're got that. We'll certainly talk
morning as we get you up and get you going. If you want to weigh in on anything, 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. We will get into maybe a little bit of information popping out yesterday as it pertained to the Texas A&M quarterback situation and what may be going on out there in College Station and the potential for the Gamecocks to face another backup quarterback, I guess, in this situation. Max Johnson, Haynes King was the starter. Max Johnson took over for him in College Station. Then Max Johnson got hurt, so Haynes King came back. But now some rumors that potentially there will be an injury to Haynes King, and it'll be the freshman, Connor Wiegman, who will potentially get the start. So we'll dig into that a little bit this morning and talk about that. We'll look ahead to the schedule that will be for college football this weekend and a chance to sit down and watch television and do some reading yesterday. It is shaping up, at least again, to top what was a very good weekend 2 weekends ago. This is expected to be an even better weekend of college football with a lot of great matchups set to take place. Two monstrous top 10 showdowns, one at noon between Penn State and Michigan, one at 3:30 between Alabama and Tennessee, another top 15 showdown between TCU and Oklahoma State set to take place. So this should be an absolutely phenomenal weekend of college football. So we'll get into that schedule a little bit this morning. And then again, as always, on Thursday morning, JC Shurburtt will stop by from 7 to 8 a.m. We didn't get a chance to catch up with him on Tuesday, so we'll revisit South Carolina and Kentucky, get his thoughts on that. And then we'll look ahead to where South Carolina stands through 6 games, the halfway point of the season with him. At 8:20 this morning, Brian Edwards will be a part of the program as always. He from VegasInsider.com will give his picks for the weekend, and we will get into what he has to say, what he thinks about this weekend's upcoming games. And then at 8:40, as always, Kerry Tharp will join us. We take a day off from NASCAR, and there's a whole bunch of news there as well. So get Kerry Tharp back to talk with Jen and get a feel for what's going on with the NASCAR boys. So we've got a busy morning in front of us. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, very simple, 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us. As always, you can go to our live stream, go to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game, click join, subscribe, be a part, weigh in. Trey, David, DC, Dakar, all up and joining us already on the live stream. So we've got a lot going on right there as you can be a part of it. Again, just go to youtube.com or go to our Facebook page and join, click, subscribe, be a part of it. Help yourself each and every morning with a little chat. Who knows where that chat room goes? Some mornings it gets turned into a completely different off-topic world where you can weigh in as well. So again, we will get to a lot of that this morning. Tonight in the NFL, Amazon Prime. Well, really wish Patrick was still here for this. We could just have a fisticuffs between Patrick and Jen as the Commanders will be traveling to Jen's Chicago Bears. So tomorrow will be a little bit of trash talking season between the Commanders and the Bears.
Could be fun.
Yeah. We got you in there to handle the Bears side of things. Patrick will be on tomorrow morning to handle the Commanders side of things. So we've got a lot going there. That'll be your NFL game tonight. College game tonight. Actually, not a bad one. Baylor traveling to West Virginia. So some good college football tonight to go along with what we've got for Major League Baseball. Again, at 803-404-6100 is how you can be a part of the program. It would not be an opening segment if we did not include Gamecock Larry in the opening segment, who's ready to speak bright and early at 6:09 this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling this morning?
Well, I'm tired and aggravated. I can't have no coffee or nothing until my nurse come and take my lab work at 7 o'clock. I wish it could be here at 6. And then number 2, never heard of this guy, but about 3:20 this morning, Austin the Aggie called me from a restricted number. I answered the phone, and he talked to me, and I didn't recognize his voice. But he was telling me how they was going to take us to the woodshed and all that. Well, I'm not going to talk about you now right now. We got a week, couple of days to go. But Austin the Aggie, I wish you would have the intestinal fortitude. I could say something else, but I won't say it. I wish you had the intestinal fortitude to call me from a number. I know you're around here, Columbia, somewhere, because you got my number, so I don't know how you got it. Well, yeah, I guess I do, because the station's got it, and I told them to give it to anybody to call. It don't make no difference to me. But at least, let's talk. What do you call it? Be gentlemen or something about like this. And number 3, this morning, that was about 3:20. This morning, about 4:10 or 4:15, the moon must have went behind the clouds or something and came out bright. Oh, Larry the Rooster, he went wild. I had to get up and been up ever since. But old Larry the Rooster, that went in, he's snoozing over here. I think he won't do nothing now. But I'm gonna get him where you can have him one day, Bill. You done made the old man feel kind of bad. You called him a fake. But that's okay. I've been called fake before.
We didn't call you a fake, just the Rooster. Just little Gamecock Larry Seinfeld has been called a fake, not you. We know you're real. We've seen you.
Okay. But that's about all I got to say. But we're We're gonna be okay. Love all of y'all, Gamecock Nation. Let's get this old Austin the Tiger. Let's find out who he is and get him on and talk trash to him. And Austin the Tiger, you can call me again. I'll talk trash to you. But be a man enough to call me from a number that I know. Oh, go Gamecocks. Talk to all of y'all later.
Take care, Vicky. Glad you're feeling good this morning. Jonathan weighing in and says Gamecock Larry's getting creative in his old age. Austin the Aggie. How about that? A new villain to I feel like where this is going, Jen, is it ends with Langston Moore and Preston Thorne having a new book.
I love that.
Gamecock Larry in the Barnyard or something. I feel like that's where that's going. Just
I think that's phenomenal.
little
Way to pitch that.
well, so you take one day off, you come back with plenty of great ideas in the first episode or the first segment of
I would
the
say first segment. Let's
first
not
segment.
just assume it's going to be, the entire show.
No,
but
we've just maxed out already right there. So but it does seem like a brilliant idea on my behalf. 803-404-6100. We'll get into the college football schedule for the coming weekend. Look at that situation with Texas A&M as well. A lot to do this morning. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up on the next Extra Point.
I don't really know what Marshawn looks like when he's running the football, but I imagine his face is as scary as everything else he's doing with his body. If I were a defensive player, Marshawn's running at me, I have a feeling his eyes are going to be bulged about 3 inches out of his head. There's going to be a big vein across his forehead, and he's going to look like he's about to – you mentioned Juice just looking like he's about to explode. I feel like that's what Marshawn looks like.
The funny thing, I would think so. It's not. It's almost expressionless.
Oh,
Even worse?
That's even scarier.
His eyes,
Michael Myers.
His eyes are just normal. Because, if you go look at players, a lot of times they got the bulgy eyes where they're, no, his eyes are almost, they're almost shut, and then he has no mouth expression.
He doesn't have a mouth.
It's just
Keanu Reeves at the beginning of The Matrix.
That's real stone killer.
It's scary.
The Extra Point
with Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Enjoying some great fall weather. Yeah, I know it was a little stormy last night, but overall some great fall weather right now, allowing you to get outside, enjoying the turning of the leaves there, maybe taking some nice crisp walks in the morning or in the afternoon with your significant other. But if you've been experiencing joint pain and maybe you've had an injury or you've got arthritis and people are telling you that steroid shots, pain medications, or even surgery are the only options, it's time to check out QC Kinetics and the amazing protocols that they work with that is regenerative medicine. You can give them a phone call to have a free consultation today and learn more about this incredible new way of getting your life back with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Give them a call, 803-281-6860. Again, take advantage of that free consultation, 803-281-6860. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. And in this exciting new pain treatment, again, it features advanced regenerative medicine. It's a non-surgical alternative ready for you to try and be used. All you got to do is call them, get the free consultation, speak with the doctors, far more smarter than I am. 803-281-6860. Again, that's 803-281-6860. That's QC Kinetics.
So it's going to be one of those mornings. Fantastic. All right. Well, let's just take a look at the traffic without any fun, cute music. We're looking for, let's see, we have a couple incidences to let you know about this morning. I-26 eastbound at Augusta Highway. Also, I-20 eastbound at Bush River Road. Report of a tie-up there. I-77 northbound at Decker Boulevard. A report of a disabled vehicle, again, could be impacting traffic flow. I-77 northbound at 277. Bigger slowdown, I-77 southbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard. They've had a couple lanes blocked for a while. So just allow a little extra time if you got to be passing through there. Again, that's I-77 southbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard. And one other accident to let you know about, Lee Road at Longtown Road. And we are looking for a high today of 79. Could see some morning showers, 75 for the high tomorrow, and 80 for Saturday. But right now, it's pretty foggy out there. So low beams is the law. And we're looking at 67 degrees right now at 107.5 the game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Well, at least the Mets postseason lasted 3 games longer than last year's. Buck Showalter isn't going anywhere, and I hope Jacob deGrom, Brandon Nimmo, and Edwin Diaz return. Top prospect Francisco Alvarez should win the catching job. The Mets certainly will try to improve their bullpen and add a top-line starter. But Aaron Judge and Flushing, forget about it. Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio. Buying a home? Rocket Mortgage will cover 1% of your rate for the first year at no cost to you, saving you hundreds, even thousands with Inflation Buster. For example, if you lock a 7% rate today, you'll only pay 6% for a year. That means more road trips, more date nights, more front row seats, every month for a year, and your rate is secured for 30 years. Now imagine if rates drop within 3 years of your home purchase and you get exclusive savings when you refinance at that new lower rate. More home upgrades, more rainy day funds, more cash in your pocket. Save when you buy today and refinance tomorrow. Call 8337-ROCKET today or visit inflationbuster.com to start saving. That's 8337-ROCKET or go to inflationbuster.com.
For fees, covered rate, like date requirements, and other terms and conditions, visit inflationbuster.com. Call 1-8337-ROCKET, Equal Housing Lender, license in all 50 states, NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Sponsored by Indeed.com. As the leaves change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Join Pat as he talks about the latest trends and headlines that could impact your retirement. Don't go into retirement unprepared. Listen each Sunday morning at 10 to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Incorporated.
Hey Gamecock fans, this is Karen Hood with Coldwell Banker Realty. Since 1985, my husband Danny and I have been striving to give better than expected real estate service to our clients in the Midlands of South Carolina. Our son William DiMaggio joined us in 2014, and since then the Hood team has consistently been recognized as the #1 Coldwell Banker Realty small team in the Carolinas. If you want honesty, integrity, and results backed by experience in buying or selling real estate, call the Hood team at 803-730-2512 or online at thehoodteam.com.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily? Lead management.
Automated.
With Zapier, you can.
Yeah, it was a nice day off. Oh, I mean, I said a nice day off. I didn't take the day off. I just took the morning off. Twitter. Shit. There we go. Let's get this tweet out real quick.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. It is 107.5 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Your home with the Gamecocks.
Yeah, we'll do that in the next segment. That'll be good. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning. Again, you can also join us via our live stream.
Go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game, click join, subscribe. Craig, Waddy, Jerry, Robin, Trey, David, DC, Decor, everybody up and already in there, just welcoming us back. Just thrilled that we're back this morning to entertain the masses here bright and early. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. David wants to weigh in this morning. David, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fine. Hope you are too, Bill.
Doing good.
Before I ask my question, maybe you ought to talk to Gamecock Larry about turning his ringer off, because somebody calling 3:20 in the morning or 4:10 in the morning. Last thing I'd want to do is talk sports to him.
Yes.
The question that I had for you is, has there been any update on the health of the offensive line coach? I haven't heard anything. And also, good luck, Jen, with the Bears tonight. Take it off the air. Thank y'all. Appreciate what you do.
Appreciate the
that,
phone
David.
call. Yeah, no, to my knowledge, and you actually asked a great question that I had forgotten about with Greg Atkins. I'm assuming Lonnie Teasley is still or was still the offensive line coach for Kentucky. Now you've got me trying to remember back exactly when Greg Atkins had to step aside. If it was
It's the last home game.
was it
No,
was
no,
it
no,
the,
no. I'm sorry. No, it was not.
was it Charlotte? Was he out for Charlotte?
Yeah, because I was not at the SC State game.
Okay.
So
So you were at the Charlotte
I
game
was,
where he
yeah.
had okay, so
And that was the
so that
one.
would be 3 that he's missed, and Lonnie Teasley would be taking the reins. Shane Beamer talked yesterday, nothing particular about what he had to say yesterday regarding the team. We figure it would be a pretty quiet week. We will get Shane on Sunday, kind of back in the regular routine tonight, according to my emails, unless something has changed. You will have Carolina calls tonight. Derek Moore and Luke Day are expected to head that up there for South Carolina. So that's that would be tonight in terms of getting a little bit more from the Gamecocks, but it will not be Shane Beamer. Then on Sunday, you'll kind of get back into the regular routine of the Sunday press conference from Shane Beamer, which at that time I would assume maybe we'll get a little bit more information on the health of the football team, as well as maybe a little bit on Greg Atkins. But that's a great question, David. As far as I know, Greg Atkins is not back, and there was no timetable for when exactly he would be back after the little health issue that he had. So appreciate you calling this morning. 803-404-6100. How you can, excuse me, Craig has got it pointed. Yeah, Carolina calls was last night, not tonight. Today is, I'm one day ahead or one day off on what day it was because I took a day off. But yes, Carolina calls was last night. I apologize for that. I knew that. I'm just you take one day off and you fall completely behind. 803-404-6100. Again, how you can weigh in this morning. The quarterback situation at Texas A&M is kind of an interesting situation right now. Nothing definite on what is happening out there, but there are rumors now that Haynes King has suffered some form of a rib injury, whether it's a cracked rib or a bruised rib seems to be in question. And then if that's the case, they would end up going to a 5-star freshman, Connor Wiegman, who was one of the top recruits in their class last year. It is something to keep an eye on right now as it pertains to that game next Saturday night here at Williams-Brice Stadium. You know, South Carolina and Williams-Brice can be one of, when it wants to, when the fans want to, and the things that they've done, and now you add in the LED lights. What you get is one of the most intimidating environments in all of college football when South Carolina fans want to get revved up and really get going. And Wiggy, as they are calling him out in Texas A&M, as I scrolled around, Wiggy would be making his first ever career start. And that's a difficult place to send in, even if he's a 5-star true freshman. That's a difficult place to get the start. And Texas A&M's offensive line has struggled at times this year. At times they've been very solid, but at times they have struggled a little bit. This would be a situation where South Carolina, again, can take advantage of the misfortune of an opponent and maybe take advantage of what is going on in their quarterback room. Nobody's going to complain about getting the win over Kentucky minus Will Levis. So there's a great chance that South Carolina could get what is technically Texas A&M's third-string quarterback. Haynes King was number 1 to begin with. He got benched in favor of Max Johnson. When Johnson had the broken hand, it was back to Haynes King. And now what seems to be the news is that Haynes King has a rib injury. As to the significance of it and whether or not it will cost him his opportunity to play in the South Carolina game is yet to be determined, but it is something that you keep a very close eye on as to what is going on with Texas A&M and how it very well could impact that game. So just keep an eye on that over the next several days, especially going into the weekend, and what is coming out of Jimbo Fisher's mouth and what is being said down in College Station. There's a little bit of uncertainty there. Again, at worst case, you're not going to get a completely 100% Haynes King. If he is the guy who comes out and does indeed play, it'll be a guy who is probably a little gimpy, who's got a little bit of a rib, some type of rib injury. So it is something that we are monitoring. It came out yesterday via Twitter and has been addressed a little bit on their websites. But again, nothing definite or nothing that would lead us to believe right now he will not play. I guess that's what we should say. But the fact that there are already reports out there, much like what happened with Will Levis, where it kind of came out of nowhere on what I think Thursday is when we started to get that. Does that seem right? Thursday, a week ago, is when we started to get that. So,
See, I think what's happening is we are putting so much fear into these competitors that they're practicing harder and they're getting careless because of being so nervous and just trying to perfect that they're just getting banged up.
That's
Should we
very
go with
possible.
that?
Yes, you are right. That's, I think, exactly what happened and what is probably the cause of that for Haynes King. Yes, we'll have to see. Ross says he'd rather play King. I don't know, man. You put, King at least played in that atmosphere down at Alabama. Connor Wiegman, again, the quarterback, or would be the starting quarterback for Texas A&M, again, possibly very, very talented, but also potentially making his first start. It's going to be something that you keep an eye on. Again, this was reported on Tuesday that King didn't practice, that Connor Wiegman took all of the reps in that game. So we'll keep an eye on that, keep you updated. Obviously, any more we hear, any more that pops out, certainly something that you definitely want to follow, because it could have a massive impact, especially when the point spread comes out on Sunday night via Circa Sports. When we come back, Lamont Paris spoke yesterday. We'll let you listen to the new South Carolina men's basketball coach as he had a media day over there at Colonial Life Arena, or at the practice facility. We'll let you hear a little from him and what he had to say regarding his basketball team. They are less than a month away from tipping it off against Clemson. We'll get you some information there. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Our 15th anniversary celebration on 107.5 The Game
is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game and the new 107.5 The Game app.
It is going to be a lot colder very, very soon. You know how this kind of works around here. Spring and fall do not last very long. We basically go from incredible heat to cold in just a matter of days. And with the winter coming up, you're going to want to make sure that heating and air unit is working properly, especially the heating portion of it. And right now, there's no better time than to call AAA Heating and Air and get a fantastic deal from them. Due to government regulations, HVAC systems are changing in 2023. And what that means for you, it means you've got a great opportunity to save. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. AAA Heating and Air must clear out their warehouse to make room for these new regulated systems, and no deals will be turned down. In fact, they guarantee financing, not just financing for those of you with great credit, financing for everybody. So call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you, 803-677-1500. Also included is a 15-year part and labor warranty. Anyone can get a brand new HVAC system as soon as tomorrow. You just need to call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
For your chance to win
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
I-26 eastbound at Augusta Highway. There is an accident there. Also I-20 eastbound at Bush River Road. I-77 northbound at Decker Boulevard. Disabled vehicle I-77 northbound at Killian Road. Could be slowing things down. Things getting back to normal. I-77 southbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard. That did have traffic snarled for a while. It is cleared, so just if it's a little bit slow, just be patient, but that is should be getting back to normal. And Lee Road at Longtown Road, we have an accident there. Forecast for today, we're looking for a high of 79. Overnight low, a little bit cooler though, 49. And tomorrow the high of 75. Right now though, 67 at 107.5 The Game.
Did you hear? South Carolina Department of Corrections has huge pay raises for officers. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years old and have a high school diploma or GED. Visit joinscdc.com to apply. Sponsored by South Carolina Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
With approved credit, call 888-411-7640 for details. Dodgeland has the largest new 2023 Ram.
Yep, Craig finally made the first mistake where I've got confused on a Wednesday. Other than that, we're doing good. I'll get to this. You just got it. We'll just cue it up and let him go. Is that good? Okay. We'll let it play most of this segment, 5 or 6 minutes. That'll be good. It's good. I just completely I forgot how to spell exhibition. That's impressive at this time of the morning. Just completely blanked out on spelling the word exhibition.
Forgot the H?
I couldn't remember the B, the I, the HIB in what order exactly it went. I mean, just completely blanked.
Eight 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in, be a part of the program this morning. Again, coming up in less than a month, South Carolina and Lamont Paris will take to the basketball court November 2nd. A Wednesday night is the exhibition game against former Gamecock basketball player Larry Davis and Mars Hill. Then the season opener will be less than a week later, Tuesday, November 8th. It'll be South Carolina versus South Carolina State. And then that Friday night, November the 11th, the Gamecocks will host Clemson for the big rivalry game. South Carolina we'll see. Richard hits us up on our text line and says, man, looked at that basketball roster. Paris is going to have to do one heck of a coaching job. The kid that has a chance to have a breakout year, though, is Javon Benson. Has a motor and actually skilled, but Frank never played him more than a few minutes. Big year for him. We'll see on Benson. The guy that I'm probably, aside from G.G. Jackson, aside from G.G., the guy that I'm probably most excited to see is Daniel Hankins Sanford. I think that this kid, in talking with people that I still know up in the Charlotte area that kind of are, very involved in basketball recruiting, 6'8", 235-pound freshman, can run, can jump. This was a big pickup by Frank Martin that he left for Lamont Paris. And this is a kid who I think could end up finding his way into the starting lineup by the midway point of the year and maybe playing a little bit more. I don't know if, we'll see what Josh Gray ends up developing into, if Gray can kind of live up to the hype that he had coming out of high school when he went to LSU and then certainly transferred. Gray would be your more natural center, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if South Carolina has to play what I'll label as a little bit more small ball with more of a Hankins Sanford at the center spot and G.G. Jackson kind of at the power forward spot. Again, there's some options there for how they want to play, for what exactly Lamont Paris wants to do with this team. But I do agree. It's going to be a difficult year. I think it's going to be a transition year. I think fans are going to have to be very patient with what they see. You're going to have to go out and support this team and support the coaching staff, regardless of the results, and show that, a new era deserves kind of a refreshing look from the fans as well, regardless of what the roster and the schedule and the record may continue to look like. This is not a team that I would right now expect to have an above 500 overall record, but it should be interesting to see how Lamont Paris develops this team, how he develops some of the guys that he brought in the recruiting, in the transfer portal. And then again, for me, Zachary Davis and Hankins Sanford, the two actual freshman recruits, how you see those guys develop. Lamont Paris spoke yesterday when the South Carolina had a media day. Lamont Paris spoke. Here's a few minutes of what he had to say, kind of his opening statement and a few other things he had to say in regards to his team yesterday as he talked with the media.
Anyway, started practice up a couple weeks ago, and really happy to be into the thick of things as far as practice goes. Like our group, like what we're trying to do. Anytime you're implementing a whole new system and change in philosophy, there are a lot of challenges that come with that. And so I really like where this group is in terms of trying to get accomplished the things that we value and are going to value and trying to get accomplished. I'm really happy with that, honestly. And they are really enjoying themselves and being around each other every day at practice. And so it's been really fun to be around them and to watch them and to coach them. So really excited about that. And we'll be scrimmaging someone in 10 days from today, which is crazy to say that it'll be here at that point. And so, but really like the group that way, and really excited about this year. So with that, any questions that anyone might have?
Hey, Lamont. Dave Cloninger with the Posting
Dave,
Courier.
how are you?
Good to see you again. How are you?
Great.
When you come into a first-year program and you're doing what you can with recruiting just to build a roster, will this year be more about trying to implement the system that you want long-term, or do you have to kind of tweak it and say, I've got to coach this group of guys this way just for this year?
Both. Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, we're not going to be from a personnel standpoint, we're not completely suited to do everything that I want to do. So it would be hard-headed of me to try to force some things on the personnel that we have. But at the same time, there are some things that are going to be in our DNA as a team as we move forward. And so those things will be implemented. And fortunately, those have less to do with ability and more to do with willingness to try those things. So, good question. But I think it's a little bit of both. I normally will morph kind of what we do. I've had bigs that were back to basket scorers that didn't shoot threes at all. I've had bigs that only shot threes. I've had bigs that were rim runner, block shotter, shot blocker dunkers, and I've had bigs that were under the rim on the ground Chester uppers. So there's a lot of flexibility in what you do, but there are certain things that will be a part of our DNA.
Hey, Lamont, I'm with you on the stairs thing. I'm still catching my breath over here.
There you go.
Too. But as you've gotten these guys on campus and gotten to know them a little bit better, what's maybe surprised you about some of these guys where you think, man, wow, I didn't realize this guy was like this, whether it's basketball wise, personality wise, or things of that nature?
Yeah, from a basketball standpoint, let's see. One is Michi Johnson, in terms of some of the passes that he's made on a consistent basis. I wasn't, he didn't play the point, and that was part of the reason why he came here, is because he wanted to play the point guard position. And so sometimes guys just want to play the point because they bring the ball up. There's a whole set of responsibilities that goes along with that has kind of been lost in translation over the last 15 years, I would say. And so, but some of the passes that he's been able to make on a consistent basis, so it's not like he tripped and fell his way into this pass. He's done it enough times that he sees that pass and is willing to make that pass. So that was, in your terms, a surprise that they consistently would see that and make that play. From a basketball standpoint, you're such in year one in information gathering mode, and then making your adjustments off of what you're capable of doing, that my expectations weren't in a particular place. I think that's when you get surprised, right? I expected to rain today and then it's sunny, so I'm surprised at that. So my expectations were I really wasn't going off of expectations, so there weren't a lot of surprises. But I'm pleasant. I mean, it's not a surprise, but I'm glad that what I do see out there is a group of young men that do enjoy the whole process of working, improving, being criticized, elating, having frustrations, running hills, lifting weights. We have a group that seems to really enjoy doing that with each other. And so that's always a good sign when you have that. And so I'm happy that's where we are with.
That is Lamont Paris a little bit. We'll play some more audio from him later on this morning, but you hear a little bit about what he is seeing from his team, Michi Johnson. That's the one kind of thing with just strange that Frank Martin could never, after Perry, PJ Dozier, and really what happened with Rakim Felder, could never get that point guard position settled. And Michi Johnson, hopefully that's a guy who comes in and is able to instantly handle the point guard position and be the so-called de facto quarterback of the basketball team. That's a big area of concern when you talk about this team. But certainly Michi Johnson, who was a highly thought of recruit, comes in, and you hear right there Lamont Paris talking about his ability to pass the basketball and set guys up. South Carolina has some guys who I think might be some solid shooters. When you look at a guy like Chico Carter Jr., who shot the ball very well at Murray State, maybe didn't get as many opportunities last year as he would have liked. We'll kind of see how a few other guys are able to shoot it as the season goes along. Again, G.G. Jackson's kind of a guy who can step out and knock down a few shots. Hankins Sanford, again, is a guy who's got a decent little mid-range game, but South Carolina's going to need to find a little bit more there as it pertains to being able to knock down the perimeter shot, and we'll see who is able to step in and do that. We'll continue talking a little basketball. Is certainly the bye week a good time to do that. Again, the Gamecocks schedule, they will open the exhibition season. They do play, as you heard him say, they will scrimmage. They'll have the super secret scrimmage 10 days from yesterday, 9 days from today, and then they'll open the exhibition season with Mars Hill on November 2nd. That'll be your first chance to get out and go to Colonial Life Arena and see them play. And then the first actual game will come against South Carolina State the following week, when they will host them on a Tuesday night. And then that will be followed up on a Friday, Tuesday, November the 8th. And that'll be followed up on a Friday, November the 11th, with Clemson coming to town. Brad Burnell back there for the Clemson Tigers. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on anything you just heard from Coach Lamont Paris. Dennis weighs in, Jen. Says, good morning, sweet Jen and Mr. Gunner. Missed you guys yesterday. Appreciate you both. Said Gamecock Larry's crowing loud this morning. And he asks, what do you call a hot dog without the interior? A Hallow weenie.
There you go.
Dun, dun, dun. Good job. Good job, Dennis. There we go. And we're off and rolling. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
The Halftime Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford.
Noon to 3.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Oh, that's the kind of comedic humor you get on this program, taking the kids to school, getting them up, getting them out the door. You're probably ready to get them out the door. Maybe last night they left a mess in your home. They were it rained. Maybe they were tracking mud all through the house. They'd been thrilled to be outside. Maybe they're practicing their trick-or-treating skills, going door to door to door, trying to get early candy and then coming back in and just leaving stains on the carpet, messing up the tile, leaving dirt on the upholstery. That means it's time to call Zero Res. That's right. Spooky season is here. And I'm telling you what, there's nothing scarier than dirty, dingy, crunchy carpet underneath your feet. And there's no one better to get it clean than Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning with over 1,900 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating. Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning is the most highly reviewed carpet cleaning company in the Midlands. Shoot, they're the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. Trust me, I trust them with cleaning the Gunner household. You can do the same. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Give him a phone call, 803-262-4020, or you can easily schedule online, zerorescolumbia.com. Again, that phone number, 803-262-4020, or you can go online, zerorescolumbia.com right now. Take advantage of 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. You just need to mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Give him a phone call, 803-262-4020. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
A few accidents out there to let you know about, and likely because of the fog that is out there. Boiling Springs Road near Edmond Highway. Still working I-26 eastbound at Augusta Highway. I-20 eastbound at Bush River Road, an accident there. I-77, a few accidents both directions. I-77 northbound at Decker Boulevard. I-77 northbound at Killian, just a disabled vehicle. And we are showing that the accident earlier, I-77 southbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard, has been cleared. So traffic is probably working on getting back to normal in that area. Lee Road at Longtown Road, we do have a report of a tie-up. And we're looking for a high today of about 79 with some morning showers. 49 for the overnight low, 75 for your high tomorrow, 80 on Saturday. But we do have that patchy dense fog, and there is that advisory till about 9 o'clock this morning. So be careful out there. It's 67 at 107.5 The Game.
High school coverage on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Sponsored by the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program. At the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program, they cover more federal employees, retirees, and their families than any other health plan. Now it's time to see what they can do for you. Learn more about healthy benefits at fepblue.org/wecan.
With approved credit, call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Jeep Ram has the largest inventory around. When other dealers are charging thousands over, you save thousands at JT's. And get
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if the prescription is appropriate prescriptions or see website for full details and more safety information. Subscription required over 60 days after purchase.
Guys, want an effective, affordable way to get ED medication 100% online? Whether you're looking for Viagra or Cialis, or generic medications as effective as Viagra, but 90% cheaper, you can find it all through HIMS. HIMS is your go-to for doctor-trusted treatments to help you treat ED. Get ED treatment for as low as $3 per use and save up to $1,000 per month with generic for Viagra versus the brand name at 4hims.com/radio. If prescribed, your medication will be shipped to your door in discreet packaging. Do it all online. No in-person appointments. Get hard results with HIMS or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. That's 4hims.com/radio to get started free. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
This update is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air, home of the $1,500 buyback. AAA Heating and Air must clear out its warehouse before you go with efficiency regulations. Don't be fully turned down. Call today and get a new unit tomorrow. 803-677-1500. AAA, anyone you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
803-404-6100, how you can join us. A reminder, tomorrow night, you can join Tommy Moody and Justin Hall for the high school football scoreboard show every Friday from 9 until midnight. Scores, stats, post-game interviews with the high school coaches. That'll be tomorrow night. It'll be a high school Friday night. Again, tomorrow here on our program, we'll have Patrick Perrette, as we do each and every Friday, and then at 8 o'clock, it'll be the CNT Foundation's high school highlights of the week with Chris Deering, and we will get into that high school schedule for tomorrow night. And then tomorrow night, as the games are taking place or wrapping up, you can tune into 107.5 The Game and hear Tommy Moody and Justin Hall for the high school football scoreboard show every Friday, 9 to midnight. Score, stats, post-game interviews with the high school coaches. Last night, the Braves take down the Phillies 3-0. Kyle Wright gets the victory for the Braves. It was a game that was delayed because of storms and took a little while to get going, but they do get the game in, and the next one will be Friday night in Philadelphia. The Braves last night getting 3 runs, all three coming in the 6th there, as the Braves were able to piece together a few different hits, and they get 4 hits on the night. The Phillies end up with just 3, but it's a shutout performance there. Kyle Wright throws 6 innings, strikes out 6, walks 1. Obviously didn't give up a run there. Is when you win 3-0, you don't give up runs. So the Braves even up the series there. Also in Major League Baseball last night, the Padres knocking off the Dodgers. They even up that series as well. Tonight, you get the American League going with I get into, I will admit, I like playoff base. I've said this. I said this on Tuesday. I love playoff baseball. Seattle-Houston's a little hard for me to get into. Seattle blew that game on Tuesday. Really should have won it. Should be up 1-0 on Houston. They absolutely blew that thing. But I will get into Cleveland and New York tonight, 7:37. Your college football game tonight is Baylor at West Virginia, and your NFL game on Amazon Prime will feature the Patrick Perrette fighting Washington Commanders versus the Jen Jensen slapping Chicago Bears. Should be a pretty entertaining game there at Soldier Field.
A tale of 2 bad teams.
That's very true as well. Good job, Amazon Prime, for giving us great television tonight. Thank you, NFL. We'll come back. J.C. Shurburtt has not joined us this week. He'll do that next. We'll get his thoughts on that win over Kentucky. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL
With live local radio.
107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
A Cumulus media station.
Government regulations for HVAC systems are changing in 2023. What does that mean for you? It means the time to save is right now. Contact AAA Heating and Air, who must clear out their warehouse to make room for these new regulated systems. No deals will be turned down. Plus, you get a 15-year part and labor warranty, guaranteed financing. Anyone can get a brand new HVAC system as soon as tomorrow. That's AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Guttermen have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years, building their business on relationships, not gimmicks. And you can call them locally, not a 1-800 number. Call them today at 791-7147 and look for the guys in the powder blue trucks.
We made I think I thought that this new creamer, I went with vanilla bean. I thought, it'd be good. It's not. Very disappointed in the vanilla bean coffee creamer this morning. Expected a lot more. So absolutely let down. One of those more. That's the hard part about taking one day off. They must have just played the AAA Heating and Air, which they sped it up about times 4, which was hilarious. Yeah, it's even I laugh at that commercial. Back to this. It was just this time yesterday morning. I'd just woken up and was getting kids to school. Totally different than this morning.
I'm updating the promos. There's we may have some tickets to give away.
Oh, Sticks tickets.
But I was making sure the date because I sent Terry and I said, okay, one.
This means I don't know. In fact, I don't even have any idea.
The Game.
.701 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, soon to be joined by JC Shurburtt here in just a few minutes, as he does each and every Tuesday and Thursday. We'll get with him as he was unavailable on Tuesday morning, so we were not able to get his thoughts on the South Carolina victory over Kentucky, a game in which I loved from the offensive play calling standpoint because, hey, they finally lined up and gave Marshawn Lloyd 22 carries, and it resulted in 110 yards on the ground. Lloyd is, for all we talk about with the play calling and with not doing enough of this and not doing enough of that, Lloyd is quietly piecing together a very solid season for South Carolina on the ground. Maybe if they'd given him a few more carries earlier in the season, just maybe he would be a little bit more on pace to hit 1,000 yards. But you look at what Lloyd has been able to do through the first 6 games and really kind of in limited action, in my opinion, in a couple of those 75 carries, 434 yards. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry, and he's got 7 rushing touchdowns. Marshawn Lloyd has been a very good back for South Carolina. And who knows, maybe if he explodes in a few of these games, it's hard to see him being able to rack up a ton of yards against Clemson in that run defense. But who knows, maybe he does push up on 1,000 yards. And joining us now to talk a little bit about that and everything else going on in the college football world, J.C. Shurburtt, who, again, a little busy on Tuesday, but glad to have you this morning. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, good to be with you today. My apologies on Tuesday. It's one of those things that popped up, but everything's all good now and ready to roll.
Well, how was let's start with the important stuff. How was Keeneland? And did you make a Bourbon Trail visit? Did you saw the horses and did you visit any of the distilleries? That's the big question that we need to know.
Keeneland?
I actually missed out on the distilleries.
Okay.
And just was timing of it because we didn't get there till later on Thursday, and then we wanted to hit Keeneland for a good portion of the day. But some of the folks that went with us to the game loaded up with the distillery tour and all that good stuff. But certainly Keeneland was fun, a lot of fun. I think I lost my voice yelling at the horses. So it was people thought I was yelling at the game. I think my voice was gone by the time I got to the game. So it was a big time. Got to see some friends, got to catch up with some folks who were listeners and members of the site, and, great Gamecock fans. And, certainly was one of the better times I've had in quite some time. And even if the Gamecocks had not won, I think I'd still have had a blast up there.
Okay.
So.
Well, there you go. That's the key to a good road trip. Even if your team does not win, did you have a blast? And unfortunately, through a lot of the mid 2000s, early 2000s, I would have to say that would generally be the case. I had a blast, but my team, the Gamecocks, did not win on those road trips. So that's the key to it. But South Carolina does win this one. And let's go back to what I was talking about, both as it pertains to the first 6 games and then as it pertains to what happened on Saturday night. Marshawn Lloyd, when given the carries, JC, is developing into the high 4-star, 5-star back that we thought he could be. He looks healthy. He's starting to gain a lot of confidence. Again, quietly, he's racking up some big numbers this year.
Yeah, I think he's first in the SEC in total touchdowns. I think running back wise, he's first in total touchdowns, maybe close to total touchdowns, like top 5 in the country with 9 so far this year. We actually put a poll up yesterday on thebigspur.com, and is Marshawn the first half MVP? And overwhelmingly the fans voted that he was. But yeah, he's running with confidence. He's explosive, showing the speed. I mean, there's vision that he's always had that's starting to really pay off. The 45-yard run toward the end, there was a guy in the backfield that, sometimes in the past, maybe he'd get tripped up or something, but he broke that tackle, saw the hole, shot through it. 45 yards later, the Gamecocks are in really good shape. So, yeah, I mean, and he's the type of guy you pull for, you don't, with all he's been through and such a good person, and really has a passion for the University of South Carolina and the football program here, and he's stuck it out through a lot of adversity. And, I think it's big for any program for their top recruits when they get there to play like top recruits, especially at a spot like running back. And, it appears like he's coming into his own and poised to have a big second half of the 2022 season.
that has to be we've talked about Marcus Satterfield and identity and offense and all that, and that has to be the identity, right? Just to give you the numbers, Lloyd is 7th in the league in the SEC, 7th in the league in rushing yardage with 434. He is 2nd in the league in rushing touchdowns with 7. He's behind Quinshawn Judkins for Mississippi, who has 8. So in terms of running the football, 7th in the league in rushing yards, 2nd in touchdowns. And if South Carolina and these next 4 are great opportunities, but to me, and I don't know if you agree, the identity of this football team has to be Marshawn Lloyd getting 20 carries a game and running the football.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd think that. I mean, you're not always going to be able to do that, though, because eventually teams are going to say, okay, well, we're going to scheme to stop the counter play. We're going to scheme to stop this. Because you always have defensive coaches always have, well, what do we have to get stopped first? And, right now, if you look at South Carolina, it's definitely Lloyd and, the run game. Because once they get that going, it sort of opens up other things. But, yeah, I mean, I think that when you good, bad, or ugly, when you look at the identity of the team on offense right now, it's being able to run it with Lloyd and then, selectively make big plays in the passing game with guys like Wells and Brooks and, at times Jaheim Bell and, Josh Fan had a couple of catches. I think, one play that stood out to me as a very good play call, Spencer Rattler didn't throw his best pass on this play, was getting Stogner downfield one-on-one coverage. I mean, when you can get that look and you have a guy like that streaking down the field, a good throw, he comes down with it and, they're scoring before the half. And that's kind of what he does. When you look at Stogner's film at Oklahoma, a lot of vertical balls in one-on-one situations where he can jump up and get it. So I thought, however they got into that and found that was a really good play call. It just didn't work out because, the ball obviously was short and low and it ended up in interception. And it sounds crazy to say, hey, great play call when it was a pick. But, I think just getting, it's not the offensive coordinator's job to go out there and throw it. He just puts the players in the right position, and that certainly was the right position. So, I think that's that's positive. I think that if you can keep Lloyd going and he can keep running it well, and your run game can continue to be fine, you can have a pretty successful second half of the year offensively, and probably win your share of games down the stretch.
He's J.C. Shurburtt. We'll get into 2 things that he just brought up, and just some of it passing and Spencer Rattler as we hit the halfway mark. And also we'll get into a successful second half of the season, in particular the next 4 games as they stand right now. Texas A&M potentially with some quarterback issues. Missouri, who's fighting but not finding ways to win. What's going on with Vanderbilt in Florida? We'll talk about that with J.C. Shurburtt. He joins us for the hours he does each and every Tuesday and Thursday. Glad to have him along. You're listening to J.C. Shurburtt, Bill Gunner, and Jen Jensen. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next Extra Point.
I don't really know what Marshawn looks like when he's running the football, but I imagine his face is as scary as everything else he's doing with his body. If I were a defensive player, Marshawn's running at me, I have a feeling his eyes are going to be bulged about 3 inches out of his head. There's going to be a big vein across his forehead, and he's going to look like he's about to – you mentioned Juice just looking like he's about to explode. I feel like that's what Marshawn looks like.
It's the funny thing, I would think so. It's not. It's almost expressionless.
Oh,
even worse.
That's even scarier.
His eyes,
Michael Myers.
His eyes are just normal. Because, if you go look at players, a lot of times they got the bulgy eyes where they're, no, his eyes are almost, they're almost shut, and then he has no mouth expression.
He doesn't have a mouth.
It's just
Keanu Reeves at the beginning of The Matrix.
That's real stone killer.
It is scary.
The Extra Point.
With Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Getting out, throwing the football around. There's no better time to do it in the fall. We've talked about it next week, next Saturday, the 22nd, tailgating for Texas A&M. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be the mid-60s. You're going to want to get out and tailgate. Maybe, again, throw that football around with the kids in the parking lot. Maybe even show them up. That's right. Do a little dancing on them after you score a touchdown. But If you had that arthritis pain, if you've been suffering from joint issues, you're not able to school the kids up in a little pickup football. You need to get yourself healed up. You need to get yourself fixed so that when you play a little tailgate football out there, you can dance on them. You can score a couple touchdowns, trash talk them a little bit. And if you've got that joint pain, well, it's time to get it fixed. Do it with QC Kinetics. If people have been telling you that painful steroid shots, pain medications, or surgery are your only options, it's not true. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue. So give them a phone call today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. Again, 0803-281-6860. Get that free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Again, with no surgery, no drugs, and absolutely no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today. 803-281-6860. Don't text me while I'm trying to read I'll read your phone number right out over the phone line, Jen. If you text me while I'm trying to read a promo, you're
I'm so sorry.
803-281-6860. That's QC Kinetics.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
All right, well, trying to make life a little bit better for everybody else since I'm messing up Bill's world. Boiling Springs Road near Edmond Highway, we have a report of an accident there. I-20 eastbound after Highway 6, that would be exit 55. The right lane is currently blocked. I-77 southbound at Bluff Road, an accident there. I-26 westbound at Sunset Boulevard. I-77 northbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard, an accident reported there. And a disabled vehicle still could be slowing things down a little bit. I-77 northbound at Killian Road. 79 for your high today. Just some morning showers should be popping out. There could be a stray shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, but for the most part, everything should be cleared. 49 is your overnight low. 75 your high tomorrow under mostly sunny skies. But we do have that dense fog alert. So just allow maybe a little extra time and keep those low beam headlights on. It's 67 right now at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Buffalo and Kansas City, number 1 and 2 on my power rankings, clash in Sunday's Game of the Year on CBS. San Fran is rolling as Jimmy G ramps up, while Philly stayed unbeaten, but barely. And Dallas' defense is again spelling doomsday. Tampa Bay, Minnesota, the Chargers, and Baltimore, and, well, looky here, folks, the Giants, for now at least, round out my top 10. They are 4-1 after all. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
2002.
All right, let's just to warm it back up. Okay. All right.
now. Use promo code radio to save 20%. That's join the letter N-U-Image.com. If you use promo code radio to save 20%. Go to join-N-U-Image.com to save 20%. Promo code radio.
No. Ay.
Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Oh, $1,500 buyback. Time now for the old-timey meat market. November 3rd, 2018. Our football team won a wild one. 48-44. We mentioned two times. In those times, we were on about old-timey. No different than old time.
Tell you one thing, I didn't realize we had so many fans here, though, Todd, because we all look like we dressed the same, but we must have 3,000 or 4,000 fans here. Wow.
They saw a familiar sight. His first of the year, his fourth ever. Debo, all-time kickoff return leader. The last one he did was, of course, against Missouri for 97 yards a year ago.
The thing that happened there was the drop of the ball. We got everybody out of the sync a little bit, got them out of their lanes coming down defensively, and that allowed our blocks to set up. And a little bit of hesitation, a little patience, and then once he saw the hole, he was gone.
And that's our old-timey clip of the day, sponsored by Old Timey Meat Market, with 3 locations: Lexington, South Congaree, and St. Andrews Road in Irma.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios, this is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
The early game, 107.5
The game.
No Carolina calls tonight. It is Thursday. It's not Wednesday. You take one day off and you completely forget what day it is. Carolina calls was last night with Derek Moore and Luke Day. So tonight, no Carolina calls, which means you can hear the Tommy Moody Show, 6 p.m. tonight. The episode will be From Macon to Minnesota, the life and times of Gamecock Bobby Bryant. So you can tune in right after Heath Klein and hear Tommy Moody tonight as he will detail the life and times of former Gamecock Bobby Bryant. It's labeled From Macon to Minnesota, the life and times of Gamecock Bobby Bryant. Hear that right here on 107.5 The Game tonight, right after Game Time with Heath Klein. 6 o'clock, you can hear the Tommy Moody Show. Should be a lot of fun and a good stroll down memory lane with Tommy on that episode. So make sure you tune in at 6 o'clock on your drive home. 803-404-6100 if you want to text in and ask JC a question or be a part of the conversation. So we go to now the second half of the season, JC, and I think the big question for me, because I brought this up back in the off season, just pondering, just spitballing, if you will. What if South Carolina were to win 8 or 9 games, yet Spencer Rattler doesn't have the kind of year that everybody anticipates, and the draft stock doesn't really improve? Well, through 6 games, South Carolina's 4-2. They're not in a bad spot, but Spencer Rattler has not improved his NFL draft stock. Quite frankly, right now, he's not ready to go, which South Carolina, it would make for an interesting quarterback situation. Where do you think maybe he breaks out? Maybe he breaks out and he's phenomenal and he throws for 1,000,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and no interceptions in the final 6 games, and South Carolina wins them all, and it's completely different. But right now, where do you see this going with Spencer Rattler and his career at South Carolina? Is there 6 or 7 games left, regardless of what happens?
That's hard to say, Bill. I think because that gets into speculation and recruiting and depth chart, and there's this thing called the transfer portal. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that could happen. I think with Rattler, I think he's close. I think and this gets back to the system and the scheme and adapting to it. And, talking to Jamie Bradford yesterday on the show, he just sort of made the point, look, the scheme is what it is. And that's, something that, this team's going to have to navigate through, including Spencer Rattler. And, Carolina's just going to have to find a way to win games regardless. We can question in the offseason the wisdom of bringing in a quarterback with that kind of talent and forcing him to go into an unproven system and learn all this stuff and have a big learning curve and all that later on. I mean, I personally have my opinions on it, but I think he's close because it's a situation where you just kind of look at it and he's not getting off to really good starts, but he's finishing well, kind of like the team. I mean, in a lot of ways. I don't think anybody would argue that Saturday night the special teams and defense didn't get off to a great start, because it did, but the offense certainly did not. But you look at the second half. He settled in, hit some good passes, ran the offense well. It was kind of night and day. But I think he's close, and I think the best thing for this team, this program, and Spencer Rattler would be for him to have a good second half. And get it going and, improve his draft stock and go get drafted. That's he's an older player. Certainly some things have happened during his career that were, less than ideal for him. But I think if he can continue to play and build on the second half of last week, that, good things are coming. I mean, he's close to having a big breakout game. I mean, it's just a matter. He's got the weapons around him. The offensive line's playing better. Some of the things he needs to do is, he's sometimes at times seeing pressure that's not there, especially in the second half, and he rolls out, doesn't give the play a chance. Of course, sometimes guys aren't open. But I think that the best case scenario for him would be to have a big second half, get that draft status back up, because he's talented. Somebody, he has a really good second half. He's going to get drafted, and then go from there. I think that, unfortunately, from what they say, this offense kind of takes time. And we've had 6 games now. He's shown a lot of incremental improvement, as has the offense as a whole. And hopefully he goes out there and finds some guys. I mean, Jalen Jalen Brooks is playing well. Bill Juice Wells is playing well. Jaheim Bell needs the ball more. I say that every week. He got it a little bit. Josh Vann had a couple of catches. You've mentioned Lloyd. Juju McDowell goes out there and does his thing. I mean, there's so many more options in this passing game than really the last two seasons, 2020 and 2021 combined. Plus, you have an arm talent like Spencer. So, I think he's close. I think he's close to having a breakout game, and maybe against A&M this next game, because A&M kind of got Alabama had kind of their way running the ball against the Aggies defense, but I don't think they're that bad against the run. I think they're actually pretty good. So Carolina's going to have to be able to throw the ball next Saturday night against DJ Durkin and the Texas A&M defense when they come in here. So great opportunity, for the passing game to really break out. They had the Arkansas game where they were very explosive, but that was kind of a different. I mean, it almost looked like a different offense out there, right? So I think that it's a situation where he's not that far off, and I think that there's an opportunity the second half for him to go out there and be the player that people expect him to be.
It's interesting to me because, as you pointed out, as you just said, there's depth charts. We all know what the transfer portal is. There's actually a really good article on, or I should say, I guess it's a kind of a mailbag type article on Arch Manning, and wondering if he underestimated Quinn Ewers, as obviously there would only, I guess Manning could redshirt and create a 2-year separation. But the way Quinn Ewers is starting to play for Steve Sarkisian in Texas, I'm assuming Arch Manning was committing there with the thought of competing as a freshman or having a great chance of winning the starting job early on, if not by his sophomore year. And maybe the way Ewers plays, maybe he leaves early. But you're right, that transfer portal is interesting. And you can go from quarterback depth, which one thing you have to give credit to Marcus Satterfield, I think, for is the way he's been able to help recruit that room and rebuild it with Tanner Bailey, with Braden Davis, two guys that he personally recruited. Dante Reno looks like he is going to be a very good quarterback in the 2024 class. Spencer Rattler is part of the Marcus Satterfield recruitment there. You do have to give him credit, but you can go from depth to no depth in the blink of an eye. We've seen that pretty much happened to Clemson this past offseason in kind of a wild situation. So I do find it interesting what happens with him as it pertains to the rest of the room.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Luke Doty's getting a lot better. I think, you're just in mop-up duty or whatever he's been in. I think he looks like a different guy out there, much more confident. I said that Rattler coming to Carolina was probably the best thing for Doty, and I stand by that. I think so much happened with him. Coming in during the pandemic. There was the wide receiver experiment, getting thrown in the halftime of the Missouri game down the stretch in 2020, the broken foot last year. I mean, just all this crap's happened to him since he's been here, and I think sometimes at quarterback. It may be good to kind of settle down, sit, and learn, for a season. That's why they redshirt guys and all that. You mentioned Arch Manning. I don't know why people want to speculate on that. Arch Manning's not even in college yet. Quinn Ewers has already had a redshirt year last year at Ohio State. He's playing this year. If he continues, he's going to be. He'll be draft eligible after next season. So you're talking about one season that Arch Manning's not the starter, and he's probably the backup. And then with all the injuries and stuff, Bill, the backup quarterback these days around the SEC and in college football, they're getting a lot of play. I mean, it's been a strange situation, but. As far as South Carolina is concerned, I think they'll be fine. I think that, when you sort of look at it, they're in a better spot than a lot of teams. Where you kind of look around the country and see these teams, like Kentucky last week. My goodness, you stuck a guy out there that not even registered any stats, and you had to go with him. A&M could be on their third quarterback coming in here next Saturday. Granted, he's a 5-star elite recruit that Jimbo Fisher said was one of the best he's ever gotten. But that's an issue. Alabama, they struggle to throw the ball when Milroe's in there, and that's Alabama. So I think, South Carolina's in better shape than most because they have a backup that's played and that's a legit, that has been a starter in this league and all that. And, the hope would be, moving forward that would continue. But, I don't know what's going to happen with Rattler. I do like the depth in that room. I do think that, Tanner Bailey's got a bright future, obviously. Braden Davis and, the walk-on Jalen Daniels from California has a lot of upside as well. And then you mentioned Reno in the 2024 class. There's probably not a lot of better arm talents out there in the country than Dante Reno. So, it's looking good, depth-wise, but, certainly, like you said, that all could end. I remember the year before Jalen Hurts, when Jalen Hurts won the job at Alabama, they had like 3 or 4 or 5-star quarterbacks right there on the roster, and they all left. And so, here's Jalen, and then they brought in Tua behind him, but and that's Alabama, and then they recruit as well as anybody. So you're right. It'll be an interesting situation to see sort of what happens at that spot. Moving forward, I mean, my guess is Rattler will have a, raise it up a little bit the second half and end up heading on to the NFL after this year. And then the Luke Doty era will likely start with Tanner Bailey probably competing for the job as well.
It's just with the transfer portal being the way, I mean, you can look around, and I think that's the thing when you talk about Arch Manning. You look at even a guy like Gunnar Stockton, who's behind Brock Vandergriff over there, and they got to battle it out. You look around the country, JC, that transfer portal and not having to sit now completely changes the game for some of these elite quarterbacks who think, I'll just go there and compete right away. And nobody wants to sit. Nobody wants to sit. We'll continue talking about this. Also, the next 4 games, starting with next Saturday night, great opportunity. We'll talk about the future, not just of this season, but of the program because of these next 4. You're listening to JC Shurburtt, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Our 15th anniversary celebration on 107.5 The Game
is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game and the new 107.5 The Game app.
Took a day off, and that meant getting a great night of sleep there on Tuesday night. It was absolutely fantastic. Last night wasn't bad either. Put that sleep number setting on 55, and I've woken up rested, refreshed. I'm ready to go. I sound perky. The coffee creamer is not helping me this morning. Switched to vanilla bean, and I'm not a particular fan of that right now. But I got a great night of sleep, so I feel great. Ready to go. Got another hour and a half of the show, and it's all because of a Sleep Number bed. You can find out exactly what I'm talking about. Sleep Number has got a brand new bed. You don't want to miss the Sleep Number special introductory offer on the new Climate 360 Smart Bed. That's right. It is a brand new 360 Climate Smart Bed. You want to go check it out. 2 stores to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. They've made this bed based on the use of temperature features and the proprietary responsive air technology that's in the beds like I'm using now. So you want to go check out this brand new Climate 360 Smart Bed. I'm telling you what, it's going to be something you definitely want to make the switch to. Again, make the switch to Sleep Number today because people always ask, why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? The answer is simple, because to be your best every day, you need proven quality sleep every night. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Boiling Springs Road near Edmond Highway continues to be an issue. Also, I-20 eastbound just after Highway 6, the right lane currently blocked. I-77 southbound at Bluff Road, an accident reported there. You'll also find one Highway 6 at I-20. I-20 I-26 westbound at Sunset Boulevard. Again, that's I-26 westbound. There at exit 110. There's an accident that has things slowing down. And I-77 northbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard, getting something cleared up there. Your forecast for today, looking for high of 79. Any showers we might have this morning should be clearing out. Our overnight low, a little bit cooler, 49. And then tomorrow we're looking for high of 75. But we do have that patchy dense fog alert. So low beam headlights on this morning till that gets cleared off. It is 68 at 107.5 The Game.
With approved credit, call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Jeep Ram has the largest inventory around. When other dealers are charging thousands over, you save thousands at JT's and get 0.9% financing. Bumps or even craters in your credit. Forget it. When other dealers say no, JT says yes, you're approved. Drive the 2023 Ram or Jeep of your dreams. Get 0.9% financing and let JT get you approved. JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeep.com. Ram Power Days.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boost. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm self-employed, and we got sidetracked on our taxes at the 2008 recession, and it became a monster that we couldn't tackle ourselves. We heard about the
I really have not had time to go back and watch the game this week. I need to go do that and just see. I've just been busy, but maybe try and do that this afternoon. Actually, might be the plan. Oh, there you go. Look at the live stream, bringing people together. Excellent work, guys. $803-404-6.
Thought or opinion here as we spend our Thursday morning with JC Shurburtt, as we do each and every Thursday that as he joins us here. And JC, the fun part about Saturday night, aside from everything that you got to do up there, the fun part, is that it really kind of, I think, reinvigorated the fan base. It doesn't matter who South Carolina beat or who they had at quarterback or what the injuries were. South Carolina finally gets another win over Kentucky. They're 4-2, and it feels like when you look at the next four, the season has opened up because all four of those games are winnable. They're also losable, mind you. They're very losable. But you look at this, and it feels like for a rebuild in which Shane Beamer's still going through, but with a very good recruiting class right now committed, the opportunity to get to 7 wins, maybe 8 if you really get going before you run into Tennessee and Clemson. I mean, it feels like it's a breath of fresh air for the program after the Georgia and Arkansas loss, in which maybe everybody had way too many questions.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, Carolina just didn't play well against Georgia, and Georgia played exceptionally well. I think Georgia's maybe come back down to earth a little bit. Arkansas obviously was clicking on all cylinders, but you see what happens to them when KJ Jefferson doesn't play. So speaking of quarterback injuries, so those games, I think a lot of folks didn't believe the Gamecocks would win in the preseason. I don't think they expected the Gamecocks defense to, play like it did against either. But Saturday night, Carolina's defense played pretty doggone well. I mean, you had the one breakdown on the touchdown pass, and then a garbage touchdown, which, you're just kind of sitting back there letting them run out the clock at that point. And I think that's the South Carolina defense everybody's used to seeing. There's been some very bad defensive games, especially on the road, the last few years. And, you take your defense on the road, is what they say. And Carolina certainly, at no point in that game, and I know Rodriguez got, 126 yards. He got a lot first half. Second half didn't really go very far. At no point did I say, well, this Carolina defense is overmatched. I thought Kentucky's offense was. And I think that reinvigorated everybody. Just kind of sitting up there with the Carolina people on Saturday night, there are a lot of smiles. If you think about this Kentucky series, regardless of Mark Stoops' comments and the sunglasses and all that, it's been a source of frustration. I mean, think about how many games, Bill, that Kentucky's won in the last, since Stoops has been there against the Gamecocks. And Carolina's had every opportunity, including 2021 at Williams-Brice, when Kentucky was trying to give the Gamecocks the game, and they didn't do it. I mean, it's just been so frustrating against these guys, and to be sitting up there at their place where Carolina has not won since 2012, and I think they lost like 5 of 6 because they lost up there in 2010 too, with a 17-point lead and the game's in hand and their stadium's emptying out. Had to be cathartic for a lot of Gamecock fans. And then, we could talk about Levis being out. We could talk about the quarterback for them being the quarterback situation in 2019 when Carolina beat them being less than ideal. But I could also say in 2020, when the Gamecocks got thumped, the night Shane Beamer was hired, South Carolina had like 47 guys. Gilbert Edmond, who had a really good game Saturday night, by the way, was playing linebacker in that game with Darrell Ware, and I think Ernest Jones was still hanging in there. The secondary was patchwork. I mean, it just, Carolina didn't have a chance in that one, and that was the COVID year. So if we're going to put all these asterisks by these games, you probably should put an asterisk by, the one in 2020. You could also do it for 2021 because Luke D was obviously playing on an injured foot. So, the bottom line is this series is now 2-2 in the last 4. It's one of the greatest periods in the history of Kentucky football. South Carolina's been in transition. So, hey, you take it. 2-2, heck, take that, build on it, and Carolina probably can get back to winning pretty frequently in this series as they continue to build the program under Shane Beamer. I think that's just kind of what, I think made everybody, because here's the realization. Well, this is the best Kentucky football's been. Carolina's 2-2 in this 4.
It's something to consider. We'll also look again. We'll look a lot next week at the games coming up, but certainly you look at the opportunities in front of South Carolina. Some big things. We'll recap anything else you saw across the college football landscape. You're listening to J.C. Shurburtt, Bill Gunner, and Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Game time with Heath Klein.
A 2-point play in the first quarter feels unnecessary, but a play like that also is one of those things that you put it on tape and you force an opponent to account for. An opponent going against a Pete Limbo coach special teams is going to need to really be aware that putting that stuff out there forces an opponent to be aware of it, forces them to account for it.
3 to 6 p.m. on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Still working that earlier accident, Boiling Springs Road near Edmond Highway. I-77 southbound at Bluff Road. Also Highway 6 at I-20, still a report of a slowdown there. I-26 westbound at Sunset Boulevard, we still have a report of an accident, as well as I-77 northbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard. 79 will be our high today once some fog and maybe a little bit of rain clears out of here. Our overnight low, though, is going to be cooler for sure, 49 for your overnight. And then tomorrow, 75 under mostly sunny skies. We could hit 80 on Saturday, but we do have that patchy dense fog. 67 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Life matters. At a Promise Keepers men's event, I learned something about the power of words. The scripture says,
I'm reading soccer messages here that I missed yesterday.
The wait is over. New Chevys are on the lot now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. These vehicles are in demand and selling fast, so don't miss out. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models and prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today. What genetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. I'm talking real, absolutely from joy. Hey, look up, genetics is the nation's leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced, independent, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from an injury or arthritis, don't let them go to steroids, pain medications, surgery, or your only option. Genetics is treatment that can restore.
All right. One more segment. And we will, I assume, have Brian Edwards. Let's see. Oh. No word from Brian Edwards, but I would assume we'll hear from him. Oh, we got sirens outside. Ambulance. All right. All right.
That's why I got him this NyQuil high blood pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil high blood pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decompressant-free.
It's NyQuil high blood pressure. The nights after sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
That's Listen to This update is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air, home of the $1,500 buyback. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game with Bill Gunter and Chin Chin on your home of the Gamecocks. The early game. 1075 The Game.
7:53 on your Thursday morning commute as we wrap up with JC Shurburtt. And JC, should be a great weekend of college football. There won't be a horse track or a bourbon trail to follow along with, but you should be able to maybe recreate both of those things in the backyard and in the household there, depending on I would probably do the horse track outside and the bourbon trail in the house, but however you want to do it, horse track inside, bourbon trail outside. But it should be a great weekend. Penn State and Michigan and Tennessee, Alabama. Real quick, Tennessee, Alabama. How do you see this thing going?
Well, Alabama's going. They need Bryce Young. I mean, turnovers allowed A&M to kind of stay in it the other night. Taking nothing away from the Aggies and their defense. I just, that was not the best performance by Alabama offensively, just in the passing game. But Gibbs ran crazy all over them. So they need Bryce Young healthy because I think that, you can do it two ways. You can try, and this is if you're Alabama. This is not a sound philosophy for anyone, else, probably, maybe Georgia. You can, probably not Georgia. You can try to match them and say, all right, we're going to go out here and win this one 56-45. And they're not going to be able to stop us. But you're playing with fire then, Bill, because you have a tip pass for a turnover, whatever. Tennessee's a momentum team. LSU fumbles the opening kickoff, right? And the game was over. I mean, that's it. Even when they tried to respond, they couldn't. I thought LSU had a terrible game plan. Credit Tennessee's defense for kind of figuring out what they were doing and stopping them. I don't think they're going to be that successful against Bama. So you can do it that way. You can also line up and kind of take it back to 2012 if you're Bama and run the ball and go chunk down the field and take time off the clock and score. And then it's your defense that's kind of put on the spot. And, Bama's good enough on that side of the ball to get some stops. And all of a sudden, you're up 2 touchdowns. And, no matter what they do, they're kind of fighting from behind. So, it's an interesting game. If they have Bryce Young, I think it's probably 50-50 as to what they'll do in terms of trying to just match Tennessee's offensive explosion. If not, if I'm Bama, I'm just lining it up and just, be creative and, get Milroe out there and run it with Gibbs and, get behind your line and do that. So it's going to be interesting. If Tennessee wins this weekend or they play it close, I'll jump on that bandwagon, but I'm not quite there yet.
We appreciate you joining us each and every week. I'm with you. I will try to remember to text you and Jamie the picks this week. I tend to forget that we'll get better at this as time goes on. I promise, man. Appreciate you joining us. Hope you get a a nice weekend of rest and look forward to catching up next Tuesday, as it's going to be a monster game here in Columbia next Saturday night.
Absolutely, Bill. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. JC Shurburtt of thebigspur.com joining us as he does each and every Tuesday and Thursday. We will catch up with him next week. Up next hour, Brian Edwards will join us with some more Lamont Paris audio as well. And Kerry Tharp due up. A lot to do. One more hour. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Celebrating our 15th anniversary is Columbia's Sports Talk Station, sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station.
Credit call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Jeep Ram has the largest inventory around. When other dealers are charging thousands over, you save thousands at JT's and get 0.9% financing. Bumps or even craters in your credit. Forget it. When other dealers say no, JT says yes, you're approved. Drive the 2023 Ram or Jeep of your dreams. Get 0.9% financing and let JT get you approved. JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. JT'sJeep.com. Ram Power Days.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Mid-State has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Mid-State twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
Attention, anyone shopping for a new Jeep, turn up your radio now. Announcing the special order $1 sales event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Here's how it works. Visit Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone and order the exact Jeep you want. Put just $1 down. Plus, we'll give you a $1,000 special order discount. No limitations, no exclusions. Just order any Jeep model, any Jeep trim level, and it's yours for just $1 down and $1,000 off MSRP. Best of all, your price is locked in and you're protected against a Jeep price increase. Other Jeep dealers are charging tens of thousands of dollars over MSRP. But right now, you can order the exact Jeep you want for just $1 down and $1,000 below MSRP.
Gotta go to Galliana.
$1 down, $1,000 below MSRP Jeep sales event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Example 2022 Jeep Wrangler. $1 down, $618 per month for 60 months at 4% APR. Plus tax and tag includes $225 closing fee. Expires month end.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Guys, want an effective, affordable way to get ED medication 100% online? Whether you're looking for Viagra or Cialis, or generic medications as effective as Viagra but 90% cheaper, you can find it all through HIMS. HIMS is your go-to for doctor-trusted treatments to help you treat ED. Get ED treatment for as low as $3 per use and save up to $1,000 per month with generic for Viagra versus the brand name at 4hims.com/radio. If prescribed, your medication will be shipped to your door in discreet packaging. Do it all online. No in-person appointments. Get hard results with HIMS or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. That's 4hims.com/radio to get started free. forhims.com/radio.
It's time for your chance to win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 grand prize in our $25,000 signing bonus contest. Just text the following national keyword to 95819. Your national keyword to text is
EARN. EARN. Earn, as in earn that money. EARN.
Text that national keyword to 95819. Standard text messaging rates may apply. Please don't text and drive. The $25,000 signing bonus contest on 107.5 The Game.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961. Love Chevy, I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
The early game with Bill Gunter.
So we have Bill doing some housekeeping right now. Pretty fantastic. I'm like, a little to the left, a little to the left, a little to the right, up a little bit more.
And Jen Jensen.
Decorating the studio at 6:37 in the morning. You're listening to Bill Gutter and Jen Jensen. If you're watching on the live stream, you're seeing us entertain ourselves by trying to move a flag around and get it stuck to the wall, and that led to.
But then the right was down a little bit. It's like you gotta get it level.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
You're not going to believe this.
107.5
He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator.
The Game.
.802 on your Thursday morning commute. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll catch up with Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com, get his thoughts on which games stand out to him this coming weekend. So we will catch up with him coming up in about 40 minutes. We'll catch up with Kerry Tharp of Darlington Raceway. And Travis, remember this question, Jen. Travis says, I have a question for Kerry. We have had more concussions in NASCAR this year. Guys missing track time. He says, I was reading many blame the new next-gen car. Is NASCAR looking at that as a possibility? So we'll get into that with Kerry a little bit. Good question.
Yeah, because Bowman's been out. This will be like the third race he's been out. Kurt Busch is done for the season. Just kind of curious as to why. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
So, yeah, we will get with Kerry here in about 37 minutes and catch up with him as well. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning and be a part of the program. Certainly no South Carolina football this weekend, but that doesn't mean it may not be the best football weekend of the season. It is a great lineup this weekend, especially early on. The early games should be a lot of fun. Penn State and Michigan, noon game on Fox. Number 10, Penn State, traveling to number 5, Michigan. You also have a few others there in that noon time slot. This should be just worth kind of keeping on. Kansas at Oklahoma. Boy, does Brent Venables need a victory, something fierce. Kansas looking to stay ranked. They didn't fall very much after losing to TCU last week. Iowa State and Texas. Is Texas indeed back? We ask the question again. It is once every 4 years rite of passage, and Texas, after hammering Oklahoma 49-0, gets Iowa State and Matt Campbell in Austin, 12 noon on Saturday. So that one's also worth keeping an eye on as well. By the way, Brett Bielema, maybe just it works for him in the Big Ten, but he's got Illinois back in the rankings. They're number 24. They'll host Minnesota.
I'm excited about that.
Did some big things at Wisconsin, came down, stunk it up at it just was awful at Arkansas. Couldn't play that brand of ball there. Goes back to the Big Ten in Illinois, and they're number 24 in the country right now. And that's a guy who is a good coach. And this is the thing to maybe remember about Matt Rule. Matt Rule is going to be out there for somebody. Matt Rule is a good college coach. It might not have worked in the NFL. That's fine. Matt Rule will go somewhere and have success. Nebraska, Georgia Tech, who knows where else he may consider or what's of the best interest to him. But I tell you, if Matt Rule wants to truly do a reclamation project, Heath Klein's Colorado Buffaloes would be that project. Like if you've rebuilt Temple and you took over Baylor after the Art Briles bonfire, I guess is the best way to describe it, after what he did to that program, and you built both back. If you want another one of those, Colorado would be the best option. That thing is a disaster there in Boulder.
I was going to go with, my alma mater, the big football school, Butler University.
That also
could use a little help.
Also a very, very, a very viable option, Butler University. Is it Butler University?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. So, yes, we've got that. So we'll get into more of that football schedule tomorrow. Patrick Perrette will join us, as he always does. And then, of course, Chris Deering will join us for the CNT Foundation's high school highlights of the week. So we got a busy final 4 hours here, this hour and the 3 tomorrow. Yesterday, though, Lamont Paris, men's head basketball coach, he is making his debut in less than a month, November 2nd. The Gamecocks will host Mars Hill. Former Gamecock Larry Davis is now the head coach up at Mars Hill. That'll be the exhibition game that you can go and check out. The first actual regular season game, Tuesday, November 8th. South Carolina State will roll into town. And then Friday, November 11th is the big rivalry game against Clemson. Lamont Paris holding a media day yesterday. Here's some more of what he had to talk about with the media during that session yesterday afternoon.
Hey, Coach. Rick Henry, WIS-TV.
Rick, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well also. Following up on what you just said, you said you really like this group. And when you look at what you're trying to accomplish on the basketball court during practice, what do you like the most about what you're seeing from this group?
Our willingness to dedicate themselves to doing something that's completely uncomfortable and foreign to them that I believe will help win games, even though they don't necessarily see that it'll help us win games. You think about being in that situation. You're asking me to do something. It's uncomfortable for me. I'm not even good at it. I don't want to do it. And I probably don't even think it's going to help us win. But you're asking me to do it, and then I willingly do that, and I'm criticized when I don't have successes doing that. It's a hard situation for any of us to be in, let alone guys that are – I used to say it used to be 18 to 22. It's 17 to 24, I think, for us this year. So in that window, it's hard to be in those circumstances and then still come every day and want the work. So I've really, really, really been happy with and I feel fortunate. I've thanked these guys. I've thanked these guys for doing that. They don't have to be like that. They don't have to. They didn't pick me, some of these guys. Some of them did. So they don't have to be like that. They can, and it's not always the in vogue thing to be like that and to be willing to try something that's outside of your comfort zone, especially with kids of this age and this particular era. So.
Yeah, Lamont, outside of Colin Taylor, Gamecock Central, I guess outside of wins and losses, which obviously is the main thing, what do you consider a successful year for you guys in terms of building a program in year one?
Growth and getting better. I think even in the best teams that I've ever coached, that's been a thing. Rarely have they come out of the gates really fast and then didn't really have to get much faster. It's happened a couple times, I think back to the 2015 Final Four team that we did, not the 14 team, but the 15 team was good instantly and consistently. Those are rarities. That's a rarity. And so my calling card and trademark has been teams have gotten better. Some had no choice but to get better a couple times. And got marginally better, but some have made tremendous improvements. And so for this team for it to be a success at the end of the day, to me, I will evaluate where we are on November 8th and then what that looks like in March. And then I'll, continually evaluate that throughout the season to see how we are continuing to grow.
Hey, Alan Cole with Gamecock Scoop. Hope you're doing well today.
Alan, thank you.
Yep. You talked a little bit about your system, maybe some things that make guys uncomfortable. If someone had never seen your system or maybe didn't watch you at Chattanooga, how would you explain your system, kind of what you're trying to do here with these players?
Yeah. So what's the least comfort that they have is the defensive stuff and some of the offensive stuff, just because kids today, the basketball has moved in a direction. I won't say deteriorated, but it has moved in a direction where what is perceived by them to be a good shot or situation for themselves is drastically different than what that was 10, 12, 15 years ago. So that's a big part of getting the message across to them. But the biggest part will be for me stylistically, defensively, and that where they're least comfortable is some of the things I'm asking them to do defensively. If you're a shot blocker, then you can block shots. But I think the best shot blocker in the conference is probably going to block 3 a game, possibly, if he's really good, right? So we talk about some positional stuff defensively, the discipline to not go for a shot fake. So if he does not shoot the shot, you don't bite on and give him an easier shot. So he's got to make the shot that he planned on making. If he decides not to shoot that, well, then you're in a better position. So discipline on that, physicality of chesting up and doing things in a way where you're, least likely to get a foul called on you. Just a lot of things, as free as I have these guys play offensively, we're the opposite defensively. There aren't a lot of decisions to be made defensively. I find that works well. We always everyone knows why the breakdown occurred and how to get better, right? If everyone is playing their own role. I even used this earlier today. The 80%, you can have an 80% in almost any class and feel pretty good about what you got accomplished. But when it comes exam day in basketball on game day and you get an 80, that's 4 out of 5 guys doing the right thing and 1 guy doing the wrong thing, and 80% is no good on the defensive end. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know your coverages. You have to be disciplined in it. You have to do it. If it happens 1,000 times in one game, 1,000 times you do this, because it's only a decision and a willingness to do that. It's not the easier thing. It takes more effort. You put yourself in harm's way at some point in time, so people don't necessarily want to do it. But that's when I say they've been willing to do it. So stylistically, to get way back to your question, is that, defensively, we're going to be hard to score on. I know that I don't want to dumb it down too much, but you're going to not enjoy playing against us defensively. The amount of effort you're going to have to put into getting 2 points or 3 points is going to be more than you are going to in most games. And then offensively, I like to let guys play. I work really hard at trying to develop what they're good at offensively, each individual. And everyone's skill set's going to be different. And then when we get in the game, I only have one responsibility offensively, and that's to potentially put you in a position to do that. But you can't. It's not a time to experiment on game day. But
that is Lamont Parrish yesterday, really getting into his philosophy and how he wants to run this basketball program, and we'll see how it goes this year. We'll get more into that, obviously. Again, November 2nd, Mars Hill will be the exhibition game for the Gamecocks. That will be followed up on November 8th, a Tuesday night, against South Carolina State, and November 11th against Clemson. And then the Gamecocks will be off to the Charleston Classic, where they'll take on Colorado State, and then the bracket will play out. That, by the way, for those of you wondering, the Charleston Classic, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. That is the weekend South Carolina plays Tennessee. But if you want to catch some great basketball, go enjoy Charleston. Great event. This is a really, really fun event. Some good teams in it as well. Obviously, we'll talk more about that as we get closer. 803-404-6100. Brian Edwards is set to join us next. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
The Halftime Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford.
Noon to 3.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game. 107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
And looking at the traffic conditions out there, we're still in the cleanup stages. Boiling Springs Road near Edmond Highway. Also have a report in the Irmo area, Bickley Road at Broad River Road. I-26 westbound after Sunset Boulevard, disabled vehicles slowing things down just a little bit, but that should all be getting cleared up and out of the way. Lee Road at Longtown Road, an accident. Also, you find one Polo Road at Miles Road. Highway 321 near Charleston Highway, also a report of an accident there. Might see a little bit of rain this morning, then that should be clearing out. We'll look for 79 for the high today, but the overnight low will be 49, so going to be a jacket morning tomorrow. 75, though, will be our high tomorrow, 80 on Saturday, but still that patchy dense fog out there. Low beam headlights, please. It is 68 at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. At number 28 on my People 5 is Washington. Carson.
All righty. All righty. Town Branch. Now you got me looking that up. Town Branch Bourbon. What do you think? Let's see. You have to let me know. Try some Kentucky Town Branch Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. Brown, let's see, but bourbon behind the beer. That's interesting. Town Branch, huh? It looks like they got a true cask for $110, but then you can buy these small batch. You must have bought the small batch. Looks like Total Wine and More around here has it for about $43. Huh. That looks pretty interesting. I might have to try that. 32. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that might be right. I'm looking here on the internet, of course, but well, I'll give that a shot. Let's see if I can find it. See if I can find it. I've got a little bit of Buffalo Trace left, and then I've got the old drinking bourbon. The like football Saturday bourbon, which is now I've narrowed it down. Either the football Saturday bourbon is either Evan Williams or Benchmark. But then the week bourbon, or the week during the week, the sipping bourbon is we got the Buffalo Trace right now. What was I about to do? Oh. All right, we're rolling along. We're good. We're good. Very Old Barton. I think y'all told me about that a couple weeks ago. Very Old Barton bourbon. Oh, they got different proofs. 80, 86, 90, and 100. Huh. Well, that seems like two things to give a shot to. I'm open to that. Yeah, it worked well. 8:21 all
morning, and joining us now as he does each and every Thursday to get us ready for the college football weekend, or which starts, I guess, technically tonight with a little West Virginia Baylor, is our good buddy Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. Follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards is the way to do that. Again, you can check him out where he's senior handicapper at VegasInsider.com, or you can visit his work at MajorWager.com. And all right, Brian, this sets up maybe, every week it's a little bit different. But right now, to date, this will be the best weekend of college football. 2 top 10 matchups, a slew of other ranked games. It should be a really good one. And at this point, when you get to the mid-season point, do you think it's harder to wager on games? Do you think it's harder with the information that both Vegas has, but also that the odds makers have, that everybody has, or does it become a little bit easier?
Well, I think it varies. Hopefully easier, since I have not been very good in college so far. I've been doing pretty good in NFL, but I hope that it's about to get easier in college. We certainly have more data to deal with in terms of, how teams are faring on the road, at home, as an underdog, as a favorite. We've got tons of injury information to digest and react to in terms of backup quarterbacks. I mean, just in the SEC last week and this week, we've got the Bryce Young situation, the KJ Jefferson situation, the Will Levis situations, and, how big of a drop-off is it from those starters to the backups? I mean, I'm sure most people in general would think the Bryce Young injury is the biggest, but I think the biggest drop-off from the starter to backup is unquestionably Will Levis. I mean, my line this week was more than 7 points difference, whether I, felt like Levis was playing or not playing in the Mississippi State game.
So that leads us to this weekend. It'll start tonight. You like one of there's 2 games tonight, but the one that's a little bit more entertaining, Baylor and West Virginia. Baylor was a team that I really liked just a couple weeks ago. They were a team that was kind of cruising along, and they've suffered a few bumps in the road, not ranked anymore. But they travel to Morgantown tonight as a 3-point favorite. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Baylor. They disappointed me against Oklahoma State. I also had them +3 at BYU when they lost by 6 in overtime. That was a tough one, but Oklahoma State was in control of that game most of the way. Had they did have a couple of turnovers that kind of shifted things in. They had that big kickoff return to start the second half. So there were a couple of big plays that kind of skewed that game. But I mean, it was Oklahoma State's game the whole way. But Baylor gets West Virginia tonight. And keep in mind, both teams were off last week. So it's not like one of those short week scenarios where West Virginia would have the advantage because it's a short week for both teams. They were both off last week, so that's not in play. And they get West Virginia without its star running back, C.J. Donaldson, who's out tonight. He has 389 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, 6.9 yards per carry average. The Bears blasted West Virginia last year, albeit at home in Waco, but beat them 45-20. And I'm going to go with Blake Shapen, Dave Aranda and company to bounce back here. If your number is 3.5, I recommend buying that 0.5 point to 3. But I woke up this morning, Circa had it at 3, and there was one other book that also had it at 3. So maybe you won't even have to buy that 0.5 point.
There you go. So that is tonight's game. You can check that out there on FS1 is tonight. So, by the way, just for those of you wondering, there is another game on ESPN tonight, Temple at Central Florida. That'll be on ESPN 7 o'clock. No play for you on that game, correct? You're laying completely off of that one.
You know what? I have not seen a rushing yards prop for John Rice Plumlee. But he goes for about 100 yards rushing, I think every game except for one. If he were to have a rushing yards prop in the 80s, I might put a little on that, but I haven't seen that, so I don't know. Sometimes in these Thursday midweek games with colleges, they sometimes wait to throw up some props like in the afternoon. So perhaps if you see something like that, that would maybe interest me, but can't say for sure because I haven't seen it yet.
Let's go to the weekend. In the first top 10 game of the day, noon game, Penn State plus the 7. You like that at Michigan? Give us a few reasons why.
Yeah, so Penn State's got the revenge angle. The spot favors them. They lost by 4 at home to Michigan last year. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this spot. Penn State is 2-0, both straight up and against the spread in 2 road games this year. They pulled that one out at Purdue in week 1, and then they went to Auburn into a raucous environment and just smashed Auburn 41 to 12. Michigan, not that either team's really played a killer schedule this year, but Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn are probably in the bottom 10 of FBS teams this year. Although Jim Moore's done a pretty good job at UConn. He's had some bad injuries, and yet they weren't competitive with Michigan, but they have been competitive and won a couple of games. But then they never threatened to cover, barely got past Maryland. The Indiana game last week, and Indiana's probably right there with Northwestern as the worst teams in the Big Ten. That game was 10-10, fairly deep into the third quarter, and the 31-10 final in non-cover for Michigan was a misleading final. So I'll go with Penn State plus the 7 at the Big House. And also I'll point out that Penn State did win at the Big House 2 years ago. Granted, it was the COVID year. Neither team had a very good season, but Penn State was a short underdog. And Penn State, remember that year, they were 0-5 going into that game. So Penn State plus 7 for me.
This is in my opinion, Auburn gets a bye week this week, and so Auburn gets a bye week next week. So I think this is the final game for Brian Harsin. No better time to just go ahead and make the change after a beating at the hands of Mississippi and Lane Kiffin. That game will be in Oxford, a noon game on Saturday. Crowd probably won't matter, but the team playing will matter. Mississippi's pretty good with Lane Kiffin. Auburn's not very good with Brian Harsin. I don't know where the mentality of the Auburn Tigers is there, Brian. You like Mississippi, though, and I really like this one with you because it's very likely if Mississippi can jump on top early, Auburn just calls it a day and gets absolutely blown out of the water.
Gunnar, we're on the same page, brother. I think Harsin will be out of there before lunch on Sunday, and I think Ole Miss puts it on them. I hate that it's kind of creeped up to 15 or 15.5. I got a little bit behind the half point to 14 from 14.5 early in the week. Wish I'd have got some more. I like Ole Miss. I'm not crazy about where the number is right now, but so not a huge play. But yeah, I think it's Ole Miss or pass. And again, if it were to move down to 14.5, you could buy it to 14. Then maybe get a little more aggressive with it. I had Ole Miss last week, did not look good at halftime, and actually I pressed it at halftime and had it a much better line, and then they really opened it up in the second half and win 52-28. They're going for 7-0, and then they'll be only a half game short of hitting one of the few win totals from this summer that I'm looking pretty good on. I still have over 7.5 wins for Ole Miss and 6-0 going into this one.
Let's get to another one you like here as well. James Madison minus the 10.5. Now that's moved a lot, but James Madison minus 10.5. You've got it around 12 now. They are at Georgia Southern. James Madison making their appearance in the polls. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm liking it less as the higher the number gets. Got it 10.5 on Vegas Insider earlier this week for some real money. Bought the half point to 10, and it's up to 12 in a lot of books. Again, liking it less the more it goes up, but I'll still play it for a little bit at 12. I'd only been studying this team on paper until last week when I had them for a pretty good bit and watched a pretty good chunk of it. It was actually on the NFL Network, but it was on my radar during the night. It might have been the night session or the late afternoon session. Anyway, and they hand Butch Jones and Arkansas State their first non-cover. They win 42-20. They're undefeated, but straight up and against the spread. Their only close game was at App State, where they won. But this quarterback, Todd Centeio, is just having a remarkable season. 394 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions against Arkansas State last week. He's now 15-1 TDI&T ratio for the year. Also, 2 rushing touchdowns, 5.3 yards per carry average. I won't bore you with all these James Madison stats, but they are very, very elite. I will tell you they're number 2 in the country in total defense, number 1 against the run, number 14 in scoring D. They also score 44.2 points per game. Georgia Southern's, Clay Helton's brought an exciting brand of football to Statesboro, but they're bad on defense. And although they're 2-0 both straight up and against the spread at home, that was against Ball State and Morgan State. And their defense is not very good. So I think Georgia Southern will probably hang around into the third quarter. Probably one possession game, 10-point game, maybe in favor of James Madison. But over the course of 60 minutes, I think the Dukes get some separation and win by 14-21.
We got a few more games I want to get to. Brian, can you hold on for one more segment there and we get to Clemson, Florida State in your NFL pick? Let's do that. That way we can give him time to give a little bit of breakdown. He likes that Clemson, Florida State game, and he's got to play on the Bears Commanders tonight. Jen's the Bears fan. We definitely want to make sure she's got a chance to win money. So Brian Edwards will stick around for one more segment. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Our 15th anniversary celebration on 107.5 The Game
is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game and the new 107.5 The Game app.
Just mentioned that Clemson on the road this weekend, no home game for South Carolina. That gives you a chance to have a house party, have some people over, make some food. But you want the house to look good. You want it to look clean. And let's be honest, you don't have time to clean it. You got to go to work. You got to get the kids to school or to cheer or to football or whatever. You don't have time to spend cleaning your home for the big house party, the big Saturday of watching football. Rely on Zero Res. With over 1,900 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating, Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. And right now, you can take advantage of their fall sale going on. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. That's right. Again, 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. So give them a phone call, 803-262-4020. You can book with ease online, zerorescolumbia.com. Whatever you do, take advantage of that fall sale. Make that home look pretty right now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. You just need to mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. 803-262-4020, or you can schedule with ease online, zerorescolumbia.com. Zeros, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
We have a report of a tie-up golf court near Charleston Highway. Also, Bickley Road at Broad River Road. Lee Road at Longtown Road. Also, you find an accident Longtown Road at Killian. And Polo Road at Miles Road, an accident there. One more to let you know about, 321 near Charleston Highway. Fog and rain will be clearing out of here later today, and then a high of 79. Overnight low of 49, so definitely need that jacket tomorrow morning. 75 for your high tomorrow. Right now, though, patchy dense fog continues. It is 68 at 107.5 The Game.
Hey, South Carolina. Scott here from Traditions with good news if you're in the market for an engagement ring or for diamond jewelry, because we have the largest selection you'll see anywhere in the Southeast. And whether you're in the market for a traditional mine diamond or for one of these amazing new lab-grown diamonds, we've got you covered. Because whether you're buying mined or lab, you'll be happy to know that at Traditions, we guarantee the trade-in value of both kinds of diamonds at our store. So if the day comes where you want an even bigger diamond, we'll be happy to give you full value you paid for your original when you trade it in. Even better, we have over 1,000 diamond rings in stock, so you'll get to try on pretty much every style imaginable. And if you still don't see exactly the right design, we'll be glad to custom make it for you. And yes, we have interest-free financing for qualified buyers. So come see us and get the ring of your dreams with a diamond of your choice, only at Traditions Fine Jewelers, South Carolina's diamond superstore and customization destination, on Sunset in Lexington and at the Fountain in Sand Hills, where the Midlands get engaged.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Midstate has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
356-1919.
Oh, weather. I was going to look at the weather. Jen said, I would like to see, I would like a few hours of rain. Yeah, I'm confused. Who is Bo? What is Bo? What are we doing over there? What's going on in the live stream? Rain likely until around 11:15. Let's see rain. Oh, 56% chance around 11 a.m. Bo Nix, yes. What was that? Oh, I am told this is Styx music. Styx,
the
the
band
band.
Styx.
What? You don't even know this? This is too much time on my
I
hands.
am told this is Styx, and that now that we're playing it, you know what that means? Be caller number 5 right now to win a pair of tickets. 803-404-6100 to win a pair of tickets to see Styx on April 21st at the Township Auditorium. We'll take caller number 5 if you love this kind of music and you want to go see Styx. April 21st, 2023. Caller number 5 right now. You can listen to this incredible music. Back out to the Love Chevy phone lines we go. Brian, you a Styx fan?
I mean, no.
Yeah, that's the.
Are you good?
No, I had no clue what.
Are you?
The only reason I would have thought that was another one of our commercials if Jen had not told me what we were doing during the break. I would have had.
Six is 80s, right? Isn't that like, yeah, 6 is 80s, right?
I believe you are correct on that. Yes, the 80s music genre, 80s music and 80s movies, neither of which I fit in well with. So we've got that though. So we'll continue to listen. Well, if you don't win today, we'll have plenty of tickets to Styx coming up April 21st. Let's get back to Brian's picks here. Last one in the college game, you've got Clemson. 3.5. I saw Brad Crawford, who comes on with us occasionally as well. Writes for 24/7 Sports. He questioned this line, 3.5. The Tigers down in Tallahassee. It'll be a Saturday night game. I guess you'd call Clemson going through the end of that gauntlet there. Wake Forest, NC State, and now they go down to Tallahassee. Night game. Used to be a great rivalry. The Tigers are a 3.5-point favorite, and you like the Tigers in this.
What a murderer's row of a conference for Clemson. Kidding. Yeah, I made Clemson -7. this number's too short. I'd buy the half point in a key number of 3. FSU, had a cute little September. Got pretty fortunate to win versus LSU in Louisville, but lost by double digits to Wake. I don't know what Dave Doran or Mike Norvell were doing at the end of that game last week. Neither one of them acted like they wanted to win or knew anything about game management in the last 5 minutes of that one. But nonetheless, FSU loses. NC State did not cover because they did not attempt a 52-yard field goal when their kicker was 4 for 4 on the night and made a 53-yarder 2 possessions before that, which was quite odd since they were only up 2. And then Mike Norvell's throwing the ball when he's in position for a 39-yard field goal on second down and less than a minute left. But regardless, FSU has dropped back-to-back games, kind of in a desperation spot. But I don't think Trayshawn Ward, their star running back, is going to play. Clemson's owned FSU here lately. It's killed them in games down in Tallahassee. Of course, FSU forfeited the one like an hour and a half before kickoff the COVID year in 2020. But I like Clemson.
So that's his college picks, just some of them there. Again, Clemson, he says, buy it down to 3.5 there. Does like Mississippi over Auburn. Says if you can get that one at 14 or 14.5, it's up to 15 now. Try and get that down maybe half a point. James Madison, Brian liked it at 10.5. It's up to 12 now, and he likes Penn State plus the 7 on the road in the Big House against Michigan. NFL-wise tonight, so you liked also Baylor. You liked Baylor tonight, minus the 3 against West Virginia. Tonight, you on the NFL side of things, you've got the Chicago Bears hosting the Washington Commanders, and you have a play on that one as well.
Yeah, gross game, but Chicago's at home, so they don't have to travel. Washington's on the short week. Washington's lost 4 in a row. They're 0-2, but straight up and against the spread on the road. The Bears are undefeated in 2 home games. One of the wins was a push and a 3-point win over the Texans. Chicago is 9th in the NFL in pass defense, 15th in scoring D. They only give up 21.2 per game. They don't stop the run very well, but Washington doesn't run it very well, ranking 28th out of 32 NFL teams. Washington's going to be out without their star receiver out of Penn State, Jahan Dotson, who in his first 4 career games had 3 touchdown catches. And the Commanders are going to be without 3 starters on the O-line. And short week at home, I'll go with the Bears. Pick them or +1 at a couple books.
Real quick, Dallas and Philly, always a big rivalry game. Dallas plus the 6, your play on that one.
Yeah, I'm still mad at myself for not backing Dallas at LA last week. This defense is just playing absolutely lights out. Michael Parsons is playing like the defensive MVP of the league. Cooper Rush is just, he's not playing great, but he's just, all he does is win. And he hasn't thrown any interceptions. What is he now? 5-0 as a career as a starter, including that win at Minnesota last year. No interceptions this year. Tony Pollard's playing well. CD Lamb is playing well. And look, I've been, back in Philly quite a bit. Had to sweat it. They got me a nice first half win last week and went over the team total in the first half as well for me. But this just seems a little high to me. I made Philly 3.5. Dallas 2-0, both straight up and against the spread on the road. I'll take the Cowboys. One book's at 6.5. So if your number's 6.5, buy the half point to 7. But I'm okay if it's just +6. I think this will be a one possession game, that goes down to the wire.
He is Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards. You can also check him out, VegasInsider.com, where he's senior handicapper. And make sure you make MajorWager.com part of your morning reading as well. Brian, we appreciate a lot of picks this week. Look forward to seeing how you do and look forward to having you back next week.
Thanks, brother. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. Brian Edwards there. Again, make sure you follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards. Come back. We'll be joined by Kerry Tharp. Talk a little NASCAR. A lot going on there with the NASCAR boys. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next Extra Point.
Like, I don't really know what Marshawn looks like when he's running the football, but I imagine his face is as scary as everything else he's doing with his body. If I were a defensive player, Marshawn's running at me, I have a feeling his eyes are going to be bulged about 3 inches out of his head. There's going to be a big vein across his forehead, and he's going to look like he's about to, you mentioned Juice just looking like he's about to explode. I feel like that's what Marshawn looks like.
The funny thing, I would think so. It's not. It's almost expressionless.
Oh,
even worse.
That's even scarier.
His eyes,
Michael Myers.
His eyes are just normal. Because, like, if you go look at players, a lot of times they got the bulgy eyes where they're, no, his eyes are almost, they're almost shut, and then he has no mouth expression.
He doesn't have a mouth.
It's just
Keanu Reeves at the beginning of The Matrix.
That's real stone killer.
It is scary.
The Extra Point,
With Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Going out and purchasing a new vehicle, it can be a great experience. It really should be. You're basically adding a family member to the current family. That car, truck, or SUV is going to help get the kids and you on vacations. It's going to take them to soccer and football and cheer and school. There's going to be memories made in that new vehicle. So when you go to make that purchase, it should be a lot of fun. It should be enjoyable. It should be an exciting time. And the folks at Love Chevrolet have understood that for over 60 years. That's why they continue to help families across the Midlands add that new family member to the family. Although it's a car, truck, or SUV, it's not really the same as, like, bringing home a baby. But at the essence, again, there's going to be a lot of memories with that brand new car, truck, or SUV. And again, the folks that Love Chevrolet, they understand that. That's why customer service is one of the top things they focus on over there at Love Chevrolet, making sure you, the customer, enjoys the experience. Of course, they've got the largest selection of anywhere in the Midlands of SUVs, cars, or trucks with 14 acres. And of course, they don't take advantage of their customers. They sell at MSRP. They don't go above MSRP. But what stands out, why you do business for 60 years, is the way you treat people, because they remember it and they come back time after time after time for that brand new family member. So go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can find them on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Golf court near Charleston Highway. Still have a report of an accident there. Also, Bickley Road at Broad River Road. Still working the earlier accident, Lee Road at Longtown. Longtown at Killian, also a tie-up there. And Polo Road at Miles Road. Final report, 321 near Charleston Highway. Still for a chance for some rain yet this morning. We do have that patchy dense fog right now. Should be clearing out. 79 will be our high eventually. Overnight low 49 and a cool start to your morning tomorrow. But then we get a high of 75. Right now, though, it is foggy and 68 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers is proud to host the unreserved public auction for the estate of Larry Spots, featuring 5 real estate lots, heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, and more. Find all the info at jeffmartinauctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Waking up each and every morning to do a sports talk radio show, I need a great night of sleep. It's not easy getting up, coming in, and discussing sports, contrary to what some might think. You need a great night of sleep, and with a Sleep Number bed, that is precisely what I get. Bill Gunner for Sleep Number. I put that Sleep Number setting on 55, and I wake up rested, refreshed, ready to go, and you can do the same right now. Don't miss.
Oh, you're stretching it out. I really wish they still had Leonard's Losers. I will admit that was a tradition growing up. I wish somebody could kind of recreate that. I mean, you would think, I don't want to say it wouldn't necessarily be the same, but you would think somebody could kind of.
Broadcasting live from the Heritage Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Heritage Chevrolet makes you smile.
8:51 on a Thursday morning. Again, reminder, Patrick Perrett will be back with us tomorrow morning, as will Chris Deering for the CNT Foundation's high school highlights of the week. But joining us now is, I guess, my nemesis. I thought we were buddies, but apparently he wants to side with Jen. Based on the text message I saw earlier from Jen, I see that maybe we're not as close as I once thought. It's Kerry Tharp, Darlington Raceway president, who apparently decided to take one of my picks last week and turn it into almost a winner. AJ Allmendinger finishes fourth, and now I'm 5 points behind Jen. Kerry's 6 points behind me, and Reggie Anderson, for some odd reason, is way out in front. How you doing this morning, young man? I hate you two. I've been screaming this since like the summer, and then Kerry says it, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe an investigation is warranted. I've been saying this since May. Oh my goodness. I give up. No wonder we're not friends on this. What? All right, let's go back to Travis's question and get Kerry's opinion on this. Fine. Since we don't want to listen to anything I've got to say. Kerry, Travis on our live stream asked what I thought was a pretty interesting question. We kind of talked about it a little bit on the live stream as it pertains to concussions, and maybe the correlation to the next gen car. Your thoughts on that? If there may be, it does seem that there's more concussions. Somebody else came on our live stream and said, well, there just seems to be more of a more paying attention to it than maybe in years past. Your thought on that?
Look like that he's coming back this season. And then yesterday, Alex Bowman, who suffered a concussion a few weeks ago, said that he's done for the season as well. So, that is something that we haven't seen really the last few years. And I think NASCAR is listening to the drivers. I know that they're working on some things for this new car. Probably towards the rear end of the car, where they say it's so rigid and stiff that when you have a blow to something back there, that it doesn't absorb, as much as they would like for it to. And so I think you're going to see some improvements to the safety aspects of this new car. But yeah, I think that there has to be some type of connection somewhere there. Now, no two hits are the same. When you hit a wall, they're not the same, trust me. And so, but I think that having two concussions like this to two high-profile drivers certainly has gotten NASCAR's attention. I know it's got the team's attention. And I think collectively they'll work on this. And I think you'll see some changes to the new car next year, probably in the rear portion of the chassis.
Let's make some picks. You're up first. Round of 8. We're in Las Vegas this weekend. We're into the round of 8. Give me who you got. Where are you going here this week as you try to close the gap on me?
Well, I'm going to probably break your heart, Bill, but I'm going with Denny Hamlin. I think it's time for him to get a W.
It's almost like he's crying.
And
I love
stamp
this.
mark his ticket to the championship 4. They're good on mile and a half, these Toyotas. So give me Denny Hamlin to win Sunday in Las Vegas.
Jen, who you taking? Turn your mic on, Jen. Turn your mic on.
See,
Yeah,
I'm so
how about
trying
that?
to
Just
do
turn your
12
mic
other things.
on.
I'll tell you, I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna say Logano. I don't know.
That's an awful pick.
Right now, it's such a crapshoot. It really is. So I never take Logano. I'm just gonna go with him.
I'm gonna go outside the box to get, well, not really outside the box. This is a popular driver. Give me Christopher Bell. He was 7th last year. He was 10th this past spring. The Kansas races are similar. He's 5th and 3rd there.
Yep.
Give me Christopher Bell. I'll take a chance on him. He has 4 top 5s in the 6 playoff races. He's red hot. You two, you know what? You two just do the segment next week. I'm totally useless.
No problem. You are useless, but yeah, we know.
Kerry, we appreciate you each and every week, buddy.
Had a great time. Thank you all.
You too. Kerry. Take care. That's Kerry Tharp, Darlington Raceway president. Jen and I'll be back. I'm coming back. I'll be back tomorrow. Jen will too, I reckon. We'll see you then.
I reckon.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus Media.
All right, everybody. Excellent show. Excellent show. Anthony, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable that now it's suggested that we're going to, unbelievable. So thank you, Larry. Y'all take care. We will see you tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of the day.